welcome to Fahrenheit Performance Podcast, episode number 32. Today we have Ben Khoo, who is too cool for school, right?
That's right.
Ironman triathlete, half Ironman triathlete, national team since 2010. And you've been described as one of the old guard of triathlon. Why don't you just introduce yourself, Ben?
Oh God. Well, hi Martin, thanks for having me on.
No problem.
Introduce myself. Well, I guess my claim to fame is having the Singapore Ironman record.
Okay.
There. Been doing triathlon since 2010 when I was in NS.
Mm-hmm.
And I have kept going since through university in the US.
Yep.
In California.
Yeah, so I found out that you went to Berkeley and to Stanford. And that's where I used to live, right? I used to live in Sunnyvale, but I left 2012, and that's when you arrived.
Yeah.
Right?
The good old times of the US.
So you know all of my old riding places like Cañada Road and Old La Honda and, Kings Mountain Road and all that sort of stuff, right? That's where I used to ride road bikes all the time.
Yeah, California, the Bay Area is a lovely place to ride.
Yeah.
Like 5 minutes and you're out.
Yep.
Out of the city into the mountains. In fact, when I was in Berkeley and I was thinking of where I should do my master's,
yep.
I had an offer from Stanford.
Yep.
And from somewhere in New York.
Yep.
And I was like, no, I'm going to stay here with the good weather.
I remember during the big game, every year, the Cal team would come to Stanford or the Stanford team would go to Cal.
That's
and
right.
The cycling teams used to ride together.
Yeah.
And I rode with them a few times when they did that. And so you probably would have come to Stanford and ridden the hills and stuff and realized how good that side of the bay was, right?
You're both good. Politically correct answer.
Yeah, true. And currently you're back in Singapore. You work for DSM, which is the same company that sponsors the pro cycling team, right?
That's right. I work at DSM Firmenich that sponsors the team DSM Firmenich Post NL, and we won the first stage of the tour this year.
Yeah,
with Romain Bardet.
Awesome.
In the yellow jersey.
That would have been cool.
Very happy.
Yeah, because I know that some of the smaller teams didn't even win any stages because Tade picked up 7 or 6 or something, right? So
cannibal.
Yeah. Okay. And then cycling, running, and swimming, or triathlon, obviously, right? What do you identify more as, runner, cyclist, or swimmer?
Runner, definitely runner. I think I started actually doing adventure racing.
Okay.
From the start in secondary school.
Yep.
Won an event and
adventure racing is in like trail running and sort of
trail running with orienteering, mountain biking. So
mountain biking too.
They give you a point on the map. They give you whatever, either kayak or shoes or bike, and then make your way there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So I did that in secondary school in JC.
Mm-hmm.
And then when because it's always done as a team, which is quite different from triathlon.
Yeah.
I still love adventure racing. That's the difficulty is finding a team, assembling a team of 4.
Yeah.
So I was like, might as well do triathlon. Quite similar. I can do it myself without assembling a team.
Yep.
That's how I got into triathlon.
Okay. So you're very fast in the Ironman, right? And very fast in the half Ironman. 4:19 is your half Ironman. 9:02 is your full. How come you focusing on the longer distance events and not sort of the short?
That's an interesting story. So I've been racing triathlon since 2010.
Yeah.
And in 2022, I decided I should retire from short course racing. So let me tell you a story. This was a race in Clark City in Philippines. I was with the national team for duathlon.
Okay, so it's like an Asia Cup or a Conti Cup or something?
Conti Cup.
Okay.
Or what we call SIATA, Southeast Asia race. There were people from Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia.
So it's similar to what a SEA Games triathlon.
Yeah, exactly, but more people. So instead of 2 from each country, send as many as you want.
Oh, cool. Okay.
And I think the start list was about 50 guys.
Yep.
Yeah, Singapore, we had about, I think 12.
Wow.
10 to 12, so a lot of people. And they started off as most duathlons start off. Crazy pace.
So what were the distance? What were the distances?
So it's a 5K run, a 20K draft legal bike over hills, and then a 2.5K run.
Is that a super sprint?
Sprint.
That's
okay. Sprint duathlon.
Sprint duathlon, okay.
And it was fine the first 5K, and then the bike was fine. And then I got off the bike at 2.5K, and these kids, I think they were maybe 17 or 18, they just sped off.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and I
Like a recovery.
I looked at my watch, I was running at 3:20 and they were pulling away. And it's like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And eventually around 1.5K later, I realized that I started getting my legs back from starting to run off the bike and started getting into like a 3:10 pace.
But that's too late by then, right?
That was way too late.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm losing this explosivity as a young athletes have.
Uh-huh.
And when I finished the race, I think somewhere in 20th, like, this is it.
Yeah.
I
So you had like a moment where you just realized, oh shit.
Yeah, I just can't race short course anymore. I'm getting old.
Yeah. Because if it takes you 1.5 kilometers to get going, it doesn't matter in 70.3 because you've got another 20 kilometers to go, right?
Exactly. So you still have a long way. Take your time, get your legs ready. In Ironman, it matters even less.
Yeah, right. It takes you that long to get your socks on. And,
exactly.
So,
it takes about 6 to 8 minutes to get my legs back, which matters very little in a 3-hour marathon.
Yep.
Whereas if it's a 9-minute sprint, it makes a huge difference.
So is that how fast you're running a marathon in the Ironman? 3 hours?
Yeah.
So let's break that. So you're trying to break 9 hours, right? So what are the three disciplines? What are the different sort of splits that you need to make that?
Yeah. So this my personal best for the Ironman is 9:02, and I'm trying to go.
So you have a like a personal quest to break 9 hours, right?
Yeah, I want to try to go under 9 hours and retire from the ride. There's also another angle. My good friend from Malaysia, Tay, is also trying to break 9 hours.
Yep.
So his campaign is called Sub 9 by 39.
Oh,
yeah.
And how old is he now?
I'm not sure how old is he, but he's in his mid-30s.
Yep.
So there's a little bit of like a Singapore-Malaysia rivalry.
Of course there is.
Who's gonna break 9 first? So to break 9, you got to be pretty consistent across all legs.
Yeah, of course.
Swim about 1 hour.
Yep.
So that's like swimming about 135 per 100 meters. The bike, you want to go a lot below 5 hours, somewhere above 38K an hour.
Okay.
For 5 hours. So
that's pretty fast.
4:45 or faster.
Yep.
And the run, you want to run about a 3-hour 3:05 marathon, which is a 4:15 to 4:20 per K.
If you were to run a marathon, like a well-trained, but not without the 180 kilometers and without the 3 kilometers of swimming, how fast would you run it?
Gonna get a lot of shit for throwing down the time.
So how fast have you run it before?
My fastest was 2:45.
Okay.
That was just doing a marathon because it was happening during my holiday.
Okay. So you're expecting to lose at least 15 minutes.
I reckon
off your good marathon time.
If I did a open marathon, I could do 2:38, 37, and so your
20 minutes.
Yeah. So how a tip for calculating your paces?
Yes.
If you double for Ironman off the bike, if you double the distance, how much slower would you run?
Yeah.
So for example, in a half Ironman, instead you're running a half marathon, right?
Yeah.
So your pace for a half Ironman, for 21 km is your marathon pace.
Okay.
Right. So and then your pace for it on your Ironman, which is 42 km, is how long you'll take to run 82 km.
Okay.
So
how long would it take you to run 82 kilometers?
Me about
I have no idea how long it would take you to run 82 kilometers.
So 84 kilometers.
84 kilometers.
I think I'll take around about 4:15.
Okay.
To run over 84 km. So that's how I calculate my marathon time. And the rule of thumb, although it becomes weaker and weaker as distance increases, about 5 to 6 seconds per K every time you double the distance. So if your 5K is, say, 4 minutes per K, your 10K is 4:06, 4:05, and then your half marathon would be 4:10.
I've never heard that calculation being used before.
Yeah, that's just a very rough rule of thumb.
Yep.
And that's also a nice way to see to calculate whether your 21K PB is better than your 10K PB.
Yeah. And there are some websites that can do that, but I never knew what the algorithm was. Right.
There you go.
Okay. And then so I guess you had an epiphany during the race that that Olympic distance wasn't for you anymore.
Yeah.
And then you decided 70.3 in Ironman.
Yeah. So I felt old.
Yeah.
I think back then I was 30, 31.
Yep.
And then I decided, shit, if I still want to do triathlon, but I'm not no longer fast.
So you love the
What do I
sport,
do?
but you don't feel competitive at the shorter distances.
Oh yeah,
right?
triathlon is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. I love being outdoors and being active.
Yep.
So just finding some other way to be competitive. So what I did was I went to start doing a bit more research on the half Ironman and Ironman times.
Yep.
Like what is a good time?
Mm-hmm.
And when you break down the times, I was looking at them. It's like, hey, I actually have a good chance.
If you extrapolate at that time your Olympic distance time to half Ironman, for example, you realize that pace is actually sustainable for you, right?
Yeah. It definitely always looks easier when you look at them, but when you bring it together, it becomes more difficult.
Yeah.
But I was looking at them and I thought, maybe I got a chance at the half Ironman as well as the full Ironman distance.
Yep.
And what was interesting was back in 2022, I saw that the full Ironman record was held by a lady.
Okay.
Trulinger.
Yep.
Which was 9:38 at Western Australia in
Busselton.
2018. Yeah. And I was like, maybe that's like.
Yeah. So that she had the overall champion for Singapore.
Yeah, she was the fastest Ironman across gender.
How is that published somewhere? Where how do you find that information?
So there's a website.
Yep.
Called endurancedata.com.
Okay. So you can sort by nationality, and then
you can't sort by nationality. But in Singapore, you kind of know the main players.
Yeah. Okay.
And just look at the timing.
Yeah.
And compile this.
So we did a whole episode on the aging athlete. I think episode 3 or something. And as well as Claire Jedrick.
Yeah.
Talked about going. She's did the same thing. She's going to 70.3 because she just feels like she's getting older and she wants to compete in these longer endurance athletes. That's basically how you did it. So did you change what did you change about what you're doing? Was it a training or was it a lifestyle or what was it?
Yeah, so definitely when the first thing I went back when I was back in Singapore was what do you do for aging athletes? Yeah,
right.
And looking at biohacking for aging athletes and all that.
Yep.
And one thing I came across was this. I went into a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah,
of anti-aging
yeah.
stuff. I think I came across supplement I came across was NMN, which stands for nicotinamide mononucleotide.
Okay.
Which is a recently discovered compound.
Yep.
It's naturally occurring in broccoli, but you have to eat like 25 kilos
of meat. Okay.
And as you age, what we call this chemical called NAD, which are mitochondria uses for energy, goes down.
Okay.
And the older you are, the less you have, and that creates all kind of aging things like slowing down, having bad sleep, losing hair, and so on. So there's this chemical MNN helps to raise your NAD levels and kind of restore your vitality.
Okay.
So I started taking that, and that helped a lot.
So immediately
the first thing I did was, if this is this miracle drug, is it on a doping list?
Yeah. Nice.
So I went onto the doping list and looked, it's not there. Started going on a regimen, and I felt great.
Yeah.
So I started taking that, and I passed it to a few friends, and they take it as well. In fact, one of my friends, Arif, was fasting. Passed him a sample that I was taking, and he said instead of taking his afternoon naps, he felt fine for the whole day.
Oh no!
But he was fasting. Whereas in the past, he had to
low energy at the end.
Low energy in a midday crash. And I thought, why isn't anyone doing this for athletes?
Oh yeah.
So I decided this is probably an opportunity, and I think in a few weeks I'll be launching my own brand.
Oh, so you have it. So this is something that you actually have.
Yeah. So we spent the last 6 months manufacturing, finding suppliers, doing branding.
Yep.
And manufacturing in Singapore as well.
Also, it's made in Singapore.
Made in Singapore.
Oh, cool.
Halal certificate.
The hyping
sale. We'll be launching it. I have lots of bottles. I don't know how I'm going to sell it. But
it's got to start from somewhere, right?
Yeah. It's got to start somewhere.
Okay.
So
I think you just take it. This is like a magic pill. You just take it once a day or something.
Yeah, take it in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you do? Do you just generally eat organic, or do you what?
For diet, they're low fat, high fat diet, high carb diet. My diet's a high fiber diet.
Okay.
I try to eat 30 different fibers.
Okay. You're not, are you vegan or anything like that?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Although you're vegan. And it's mostly about gut health.
Yep.
Yeah, I think having a lot of fiber helps me feel better, more energetic.
There's a lot of things that are traced to gut health these days.
Yeah.
It's quite amazing, actually. Okay. And then, so staying, I guess that's keeps you healthy, and so staying injury free. Also, obviously, you need that longevity in the sport, right? Are you the sort of person that like rolls your ankle and somehow gets into accidents easily, or are you the sort of the hardier sort of athlete?
Yeah. No, I think I'm
You know what I mean? Like some people they always seem to be like something's
on the
happened.
bench.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I fall in the category of having a pretty resilient body.
Okay.
And at least I don't get injured very often.
Okay.
But I think the downside of that is, or what I've observed, is that their athletes have very resilient bodies.
Yep.
But at the same time, they take a longer time to find improvements.
Okay.
They have to be very consistent with their training.
That's why I see you at the track every Tuesday.
At the track every Tuesday.
Without fail, right?
So I can do track for 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
And not get injured.
Yep.
Whereas there are guys who do track with me. I call them the hyper or super responders. They get fit so fast.
Yep.
And I can see, because I'm on the track at the track with them every week.
Yep.
And every week I see them getting further and further away from me.
Yep.
But then they also get injured, so their fitness kind of goes in like
a sine wave, right?
Yeah, so it goes up, and then they get injured, and they're on the bench, and then they go up.
So then they've got to catch up again to you, and then they'll pass you a little bit, and then they'll injure themselves again.
Yeah.
And okay, so
it's a bit more difficult to manage, I suppose, especially when you get fit.
Yep.
You always feel like you want to do more.
Yeah. But do you do anything like, basketball or weight training or any of these futsal or something to cross train? Because
I have no talent. I can only do triathlon.
You can just do dumb things like lift weights, right? Because like what you're saying, the ones that don't get injured a lot, especially in cycling,
yes,
because cycling is so two-dimensional, and then you don't use the other muscles, they will see you go for a run, and then they'll get injured, right?
Yeah.
I guess triathlon is quite well-rounded, where you can do everything.
I think so. Across all three disciplines, running is the most dangerous impact.
Yeah.
And the soft tissues that you pound.
Oh, it's not something that you can just keep loading and loading and loading and do more of, and you get better, because you just do more of it, and you're just whacking your body all the time, right?
Exactly.
So,
and it's difficult to know where the limit is if you don't have someone to pull you back, like a coach.
Yep.
And what I've seen is that once someone gets fit, they want to go faster, they go more, and then in 4 to 5 weeks to get injured, especially after you run a PB. When you run a PB, you're in peak shape. I think the body is not used to the impact at certain speeds.
It's a whole rest and recovery cycle, right?
Yeah.
You get to a plateau, and then you think you're there, and then you think it's going to go forever.
Yes.
And it just does. It never does.
With my running friends, usually after their PBs, I will see them injured.
Or sick, right?
Weeks. Yeah.
A lot of times they get sick because they will just push themselves so hard that the immune system gets suppressed, and then someone cough on them, and then they'll get sick, right?
Yeah. And there's no science to this.
Yeah.
Right? There's no measurement you can take.
There's no sickness, what sickness level or
risk of getting a knee injury. At least the technology isn't there yet.
Yep.
You just need someone with good old experiences from the old guard.
The old guard. You and Willie.
To tell you.
What was it? I was talking to Aaron Kiss and Luke Chua about their progression to the sport, and they mentioned that there was a crossover point where you and Willie and maybe even Clement were all racing, and they were up and comers, and you were you were still in the same level, as the same sort of category as them, distance.
Yeah.
And they referred to you guys as the old guard.
I think.
And I know Willie as well, so I'm gonna give him a little bit of shit for that too.
Old guard might be the polite term for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was I would say it's around 2019. Yeah. When there's Billy, Clement, guys like Jen Fu.
Yep.
Wyke,
okay,
who were born, I guess, the millennial.
You're all in the 30s
the
now.
millennial generation.
All in the 30s now, right?
Yeah, or close to 40.
Yeah.
And those guys are
All in the 20s.
born in after 97 or have their
Yeah.
NRIC start T.
Yes.
Born after 2000. So yeah, there is a split, and we do definitely see the changing of the guard.
Yeah.
Now Luke would be
He's on the younger side of that.
in the shoes of the young kids, because now our young athletes are 17, 18, and looking up to those guys.
Yeah.
Wow, how am I going to be as fast as you?
Yeah, exactly, right?
That's the circle of life.
Yeah, as much as you hate it, you're gonna slowly get old, right?
There you go.
But you're still training quite a lot. Right?
Yeah.
And you've got a full-time job.
That's right.
How many hours do you train a week? Because triathletes do it in hours, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I do about for Ironman 16 to 20 hours a week.
It's like a part-time job.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or a very involved hobby.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
So that's about an hour in the morning and night on weekdays.
Okay.
So about 10.
So is that how you split it up? If you have to be at work at 8, for example, you'll be running at 5 in the morning and 5 to 6 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And then 1 hour in the evening, and then on the weekends it's about 40% of the load. So
a long ride or a long run.
Long ride, long run, another run, and a break run, and swim.
And is this mostly indoors or outdoors, or what do you do?
Most of my weekday rides, because of time constraints, are indoors.
Okay.
So I have an indoor trainer and treadmill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, you run on the treadmill as well.
I run on the treadmill. Yeah. Those are the treadmill and the indoor bike. That's the only time I get to watch TV.
Catch up on Netflix.
So on YouTube I just save the videos and then I binge them all at one time, only when I'm with a trainer.
That's not me whenever so listening to podcasts is when I run, or when I'm commuting to and from work. That's the only time I get to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
The rest is like
so you kind of look forward to it because you're like, oh, I really want to watch that YouTube video.
Yeah.
Then you can only watch it when you're on
when you 4-hour ride. So you do like long rides on the trainer,
up 2 hours.
Okay.
Unless it rains on Saturday,
and then
then I just suck it out with indoors.
Okay. And then, do you have rest days? Like, do you?
No.
Just a lighter workout, I guess, would be considered almost like a rest day.
What I found is that you don't. I don't seek out the rest days. The rest days find me.
Okay.
When it's too busy at work, you're like, oh, you got to skip a workout here and there.
Oh, okay.
Life just happens.
Yeah. Because
so I don't.
If you structure your rest days, and then like on a Monday you take a rest day on the Monday, and then the Wednesday you're working late, then suddenly you got 2 rest
there
days.
You go. Yeah, exactly. So I don't plan rest days, but that rest days just come.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier on, I have a pretty resilient body, so I can make do with my training program.
But resilient body, right? So you, if you stop riding today, you would take longer to lose your fitness as well.
Yeah, I think so.
And how about recovery? And are you the sort of person that has an ice bath at home, or you?
I wish I had an ice bath, and I don't.
Do you have like recovery boots or anything like that?
No, but I eat an unreasonable amount of food.
Okay. Well, you're fueling the work, right?
Yeah. So when you're doing above like 12 hours of training, you just can't eat.
Yeah.
In fact, when I'm doing 16 to 18, I need to force myself to eat, because if I don't eat enough on the day, the next day in the morning, I can't complete my workout.
So you find there's a definite correlation between like eating and not calories, but like intake as well, straight directly after the workout, especially, right?
Yeah.
And your recovery speed.
Yeah, for sure. So you definitely got to eat immediately after.
So what are you talking about? You finish your run, and then you'd have some sort of protein shake ready to go, and just protein bar.
Yeah. Then and have some like 100 plus to raise the sugar level.
Yeah, bring the carbs, add some carbs in. Okay. And then nutrition-wise, I guess we've already talked about that a little bit. Just a general healthy diet and high in fiber.
High in fiber, but the problem with fiber is that it's very difficult to put down.
Yeah.
you can only put down so much. So just to top up the calories, you have yogurt
Okay.
Yeah, fruits,
Probiotics.
yogurt is probiotics, and has a lot of calories. Greek yogurt, especially, chocolate milk, just to get everything down.
I like it. Yeah. I'm a big fan of milk, but
Yeah.
my family doesn't really drink much milk, so I'm the only milk drinker. Let's talk about your quest to break 9 hours, right?
Uh-huh.
You tried 2 weekends ago, right? And you came in at 9:22.
Yeah.
What happened there? Was it just an off day? Was it just like you were stuck in third gear? You couldn't click the fourth gear, or what? Because the thing is, like, if you're running a half marathon, you know that you're going to run at let's just say 1:30, right? You know that you're going to run 30. On a bad day, you might go 1:35, and on a good day, you might go 1:25, right?
Yeah.
But for Ironman, it's such a long distance that these swings could happen. Half an hour swing isn't unreasonable at all, right?
Yeah.
And you were like 20 minutes off
20 minutes.
of where you wanted to be.
Stand off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happened on the day? Was it a harder course, or was it?
No, I just had a bad day.
Okay.
I think if you look at probability, out of 5,
Yep.
3 are gonna be pretty average races.
Yep.
1 will be an awesome race.
Yep.
Feel like you have no chain.
Yeah, it's flying.
And one of them is just a bad race.
Yeah.
And I think you never know which one of the 5 you're gonna get.
So your 9:02, would you say that was an awesome race? You
That was
consider
an average race.
So you consider that an average race.
Yeah.
Okay. So you know that you can go even faster than that.
Right. Still waiting for that
Yeah.
magical day
So you were still waiting for that.
where you just have good legs.
So let's just put it in context, right? So I guess 9 hours to 9:10 would be your sort of average, right?
Yeah.
Bad day 9:22, good
Yeah.
day maybe 8:55, 8:50. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on that day, was it bad weather or anything like that, or was it just like
I felt like I was stuck in one gear.
okay?
I could already tell because I'm so used to how my body
Yeah.
feels.
Yep.
And I know, like, when you're training, you start, you're like, oh shit, this is gonna be a tough day.
Yeah.
That 500 meters into the swim, I was like, oh, this is not gonna be good.
Okay.
Which is not good because it kind of
Psychology. Yeah.
your head.
Yep.
And then really from that point onwards, I was telling myself, as long as you don't stop to walk,
Yeah.
I'll give up. I'm still gonna finish with an okay time.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was the mantra for the whole race.
Yep.
I just keep going,
Yeah.
keep going for the whole day.
Yeah.
I had a brief window where I felt really good.
Okay.
That was from about 7K in the run to 25K in the run.
Was it like a gel kicked in or something?
I ate 10 gels in an hour.
Oh, jeez.
So every 2.5K they would give me 2 Morton gels.
Yep.
And I would put it in my mouth and just like nibble on it,
Yep,
sip it. So I could finish about 250 calories every 10 minutes. So so my real power is my iron gut.
Yeah. Yeah.
So in 1 hour,
So that fiber you've been training with.
yeah. So I felt a high from 7 to 25K, and then I ate 18 gels on the whole run.
Yep.
Over 3 hours,
Jesus.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
But I felt okay. I didn't want to eat the gels for sure. I don't want to look at a Morton for the next 3 months. But
Good, because they're expensive.
yeah, 18 Mortons, $180.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the only fun part of the race.
Yep.
And I know I'm having a race
Yeah.
when I am in a very good mood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you weren't in
So I was only in a good mood for that window.
Okay, well that's by that stage did you realize that you're not going to break the time?
Yeah.
Okay.
On the run, I got off the bike. I knew I had to run a 2:57 marathon,
Okay.
which is possible.
Yep.
But then I cramped and walked one.
Session.
Like run a kilometer and then I was gone.
Yeah.
So at that point, it's just finishing and not walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, because you had actually hyped yourself up for that for like 6 weeks beforehand, right? Because
Yeah.
I followed.
publicly.
There's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes if you tell everyone you're going to do something, the pressure's on to do it.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, it's like awesome.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you tell everyone to do something and then it doesn't happen. It's sort of like
Yeah.
cricket, right?
Yeah.
So I was sort of watching you from afar, watching, and then it didn't happen. So that's sort of, we can call that a setback, right? So now what are you going to do, sort of pick yourself up from that so-called setback,
Yeah.
and to go after it again, because you need to churn that motivation back up, get the motivation going again, right?
It's true. What I found for myself is that if I I need to keep myself accountable
Yeah.
to something or someone.
Yeah.
And
Like the first time I did the New York Marathon,
yeah,
I was in the lottery, I got in,
nice.
and then I wasn't a runner. So I just told everyone I knew that I was doing it, right?
Yeah.
So by the time you tell everyone you know
have
you're
to
doing
finish.
it, you have to do it, right? And by the time the marathon came, you've done all the training, and it's just the race is actually only three and something hours of your life. It's all the training that's the hard, right? But I can totally understand the accountability, because now that you've told everybody and everyone's looking, you sort of have a structured goal to try to get to, right?
I kind of like that, at least knowing myself that if someone's holding me accountable, and I do it. But I also feel that perhaps I felt too much pressure. So at a race, there's a range of levels of arousal, right? So some people perform when they are under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
If 10 is like you're racing the Olympics and a country needs you, someone die in 0 is no stress.
Yeah.
I think most people perform well around a 6.
Okay.
And I know I perform well at 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when there's nothing to lose, no
when
stress.
there's nothing to lose, no stress, that's when I get my PBs.
Yeah.
Strangely.
Yeah.
And I don't even need to taper.
Yeah.
But when I notice something on the line, like chasing the SEA Games slot, and that's when I really choke.
Oh,
So I think perhaps I was too far down the spectrum. But it is what it is.
Yeah, it is. Can't do anything about it now, right? So it's all over. Now it's a matter of what are you going to do it again, right?
So I'm definitely gonna do it again.
Okay. Have you already identified the race that you want to tackle again?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm gonna try at Ironman Hamburg.
Okay.
1st June 2025.
1st of June. Also, basically 11 months away.
Yeah. I just decided with my coach Ben Khoo this morning.
From Coached.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're the first to know.
Nice. But then, so how long would it normally take to train for Ironman?
I think 12 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks usually should be enough.
Yep.
But to go for the record, you also want to pick a course why choose a different
Well, you don't want a course that's too hot. You don't want a course that's too cold or too hilly or too technical.
zone.
Yeah.
And you also want something that's flat and have good competition.
Bustleton, you can do Bustleton at the end of this year.
Bustleton is not as fast as you think.
Okay.
The road condition
Is that really?
it's bad.
Okay.
I think the road is not smooth. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like the aggregate road. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's windy. Yeah.
Can
So I don't think I'll try another Ironman, but I think it's not unhealthy to do 2 Ironmans a year.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you kind of like on the edge.
Yeah, because it takes such a heavy toll on your body.
Yeah,
right?
and training is not healthy. Training for Ironman is not healthy.
Yep.
The amount of stress you put yourself under, physical stress,
Yep.
and then the amount of calories you're putting in your body is not healthy.
So your 60 to 20 hours a week of training would be for Ironman.
For Ironman.
Okay.
Yeah. So regularly I would be 12 to 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, like I know some Ironman triathletes that just treat 70.3s as training for their Ironman.
Yeah.
Is that similar? Do you do that as well? Is that your strategy for 70.3s, or is it you focused on them differently?
Well, I also have the goal for the 70.3.
Okay. So you're currently 419 for the
419.
right? And that's only a couple of minutes off the so-called record, right?
Yeah.
So are you going to do a half Ironman?
So the record is 417.
Okay.
And I think we have a few other guys out there with chasing the same record.
Yep.
So that's gonna make it more fun.
Is it going to be like the hour record when Jens Voigt did it and one person breaks it and then everyone tries to break it?
Yeah, I think so. Because there's no one knew what it was.
Yep.
And then once you put it out, you do the breakdown. And you're like, oh, actually, it's quite achievable.
Yep.
For a handful of guys in Singapore. And now we're going for it. And I think it's great because everyone kind of has to step up.
Yeah.
Right, and the level of triathlon in Singapore increases. So I think that's great for the sport, even if I'm not the one holding records. So what?
Yep. Have you identified a race for that one that you're going to do?
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm gonna do it, but
Yeah. So you haven't signed up for anything.
no,
Right.
Melbourne 70.3,
Okay, nice.
10 November.
Oh, that's coming up. That's
Yeah.
just okay. Important. Which one's more important for you?
Full.
The full.
Yeah, I can retire after I break 9, but I can't retire if I only have the half Ironman time.
Okay. And a little birdie told me that you also work with Singapore Triathlon Association, right? What do you do? What are you doing with them? Because you're a triathlete yourself, but then you also work with the association.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. So again, being the old guy,
Yep.
and having a bit more experience.
Sort of passing on your knowledge a little.
Yeah, I thought I should contribute back
Okay.
and help to grow the sport that I love so much.
Yep.
Because as a national athlete, what happens is we complain a lot.
Of course.
Things they should be this way. Things,
What could be better, right?
and the president was like, if you have so many opinions, why don't you do it?
Yep.
And I was like, yeah, I'll do it.
Okay.
So in 2023, I was elected into the board of Triathlon Singapore.
Okay.
So given that I'm still on the high performance squad, there's a conflict of interest. So I recused myself from high performance.
So you got nothing to do with the high performance part of triathlon. So, okay.
And when they talk about it, I just put my fingers in it.
Yes.
And so I'm the head of community development.
Okay.
Helping to grow the
So
sport.
outreach and getting kids involved and
events, kids. So this year we started a kids event.
Yep.
So we realized that everyone's aging up.
Yep.
And at a young age, there's no pathway into triathlon. Because what happens, how we get our triathletes are typically burnt out swimmers.
Yes.
So
I've had that conversation.
they would come in at 16 or 15 from the sports school.
Yeah.
That was one entryway. And then there'll be a pause because the entryway of 16, they'll come in from university, which is sort of stagnant or shrinking.
Yep.
And then they'll come in at around 35.
Yeah.
So these are the entryway.
Totally agree. Yep.
And we're like, we got to widen the pipeline of how we get kids into triathlon.
Yep.
Or just for the sport in general, if you want to grow the sport, right? So we looked at kids, and there was no kids program. So we started one in this year, and we launched the Youth Aquathlon League because we didn't want the bike. Because biking makes it very...
it's really complicated. Yeah, it's complicated, right? You don't want kids out in the streets.
And if they can swim and they can run, then we introduce the bike.
Yeah.
So we had 3 races this year hosted very generously by Nexus International School, Excel World Academy, and also at Sentosa.
Yep.
And the kids loved it.
Yeah.
And from there we identified high potential kids. 27 of them, regardless of nationality.
Okay.
Because if it's just Singaporean, you end up with like 12.
Yeah.
And the range of ability is too wide.
Yep.
So we just got 27 kids, and last weekend, 13th of July, we sent the kids team.
Oh, cool.
Pair up to race the internet.
Oh, yes. Yes, I remember that.
And we want to continue on that momentum.
So kids, you're saying under 18, right?
Under 18.
So most of them will be like 13 to 18, I guess?
Most of them are 13 to 16.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's a great program. Our goal is to win a medal at the Singapore SEA Games. 2029.
Yeah.
And if you work backwards, 29, you need to be about 18 or 19. You got to be about 13, 14 now. So we're really growing, hoping to find out the gold medalist.
The ironic thing about that is that some of the distances they don't let kids in, right? Right. That's a struggle, right? Like there are some really man-child 17-year-olds that aren't allowed to do sprint distance because they're too young, right?
Yeah, there's one of them, Lachlan.
Yes.
When Lachlan Ellen
my friend's son.
I still with Haytham, his dad.
Yep.
And 2 years ago, he was too young to do a sprint.
Yeah.
But he was kicking our ass.
Yeah, can you imagine? Can you imagine if he's doing a super sprint, he'll just thump the little kids, right?
Yeah. And this year, earlier today, he kicked my ass.
Yeah.
The sprint triathlon. Hit me by a minute and a half.
Yeah, he's a fast runner as well.
So I mean, for liability, sprint distance is only for 16 and above. But we can always create more opportunities for kids to race, which is what's lacking. I think grow the sport, you need more events for adults and also for the kids.
Yeah, I think cycling's going through the same thing. They've got a BMX track going. They're trying to get more kids involved. They've got some virtual cycling and stuff like that. So
yeah, and we really respect and admire what cycling is doing, and they're the trailblazers.
Yeah, so it's basically you're trying to get the base of the pyramid bigger.
Exactly.
So then let's just say there's 1,000 at the base. That will distill into a few really, really, really good people.
We used to have the Milo Youth Aquathlon, 2013, 2014.
Yep.
And if you calculate backwards in 2018, 2020 was the golden days. 2016, 2018 was the golden days of triathlon with Mocking Run.
Okay.
And that's because they participated in the Youth Aquathlon.
Yeah. Bryce said his first race was the Milo Youth Triathlon, right?
Yeah. So with that gone, you kind of lose your pipeline. So we're trying to build that up. If our Youth Aquathlon becomes bigger, hopefully MOE gives us some attention. Shout out to MOE. So we'll get there, but making baby steps.
Okay. One more thing I want to touch on before we wrap up is that I've been watching lots and lots of these crazy videos of you saying things like top cycling routes in Singapore or top 10 things you need to do before you race a triathlon.
Yeah.
What's that all about? You trying to just raise profile of triathlon in general or what?
Yeah. I think that there isn't that there needs to be more publicity about sport to get people interested.
And it's good that like you see a lot of actual race posts, right?
Yeah.
But for the average Joe, that's not really relatable, right?
Yeah.
So you need something to be able to understand. Like I saw one with you and Jen, and I don't know who the other person was, testing gels.
Yeah.
And then on right there, you were doing the gels, and it makes sense, right? Because people don't know what gels taste like, and no one's going to spend $100 on 10 different gels.
Yeah.
So these sort of things are completely relatable, right?
Yeah, and I think those like general things are more relatable, so have more reach.
Yeah.
Because there is a genuine interest to learn more.
Yeah.
And it's not like the top athletes are gatekeeping these.
Yeah.
So I did a video about what we call the Bogan loop. It's this very fun loop in the Caldecott area.
Okay.
No cars, quiet, beautiful, but no one knows about it.
Yeah.
And
why is it called the Bogan? You know what Bogan is in Australia, right?
I know. It's named after the original Strava name is Bogan's birthday loop.
Okay.
So someone during COVID
Must have been the Aussie that did it.
Yeah, and they brought that and did this loop.
So if you don't know, Bogan is basically an Australian equivalent of a redneck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that they shortened Bogan's birthday loop to Bogan's loop.
Yep.
Yeah.
As a running trail or running loop.
You can run it.
Yeah.
It's great for running as well, but it's mostly for cycling.
Okay.
But no one knows about it.
Yep.
And I did a video about it, and it got, I think, close to 100,000 views.
Wow.
And there were some very nasty comments like, why do you have to tell everyone?
Oh, you've uncovered the secret now.
Yeah, now everyone knows secret is gonna be so crowded. And my opinion is like, come on, guys, like, love the sport.
Yeah.
You want to grow.
Why are you hiding these sort of things?
Share the love.
Yep.
Right. So all these things and secrets I try to share.
Yep.
Things like how do you get into the triathlon national team?
Mm-hmm.
I try to share because it's no secret. It's just that the information is difficult to come by.
It's public knowledge, but you gotta know where to find it.
You gotta dig somewhere in some website.
Yeah.
Or if you want to qualify for the SEA Games, say marathoning, what are the standards and how the standards come about.
Yeah.
Like it's about the runners, everyone knows.
Yeah.
But the public wants to know as well.
Yeah, because the average Joe who might be coming into the sport, he wants to do that.
To aspire.
Yeah, aspire, are they? And to save a lot of time, it's just easily accessible, right?
Yeah.
And that is what too cool. That's why usually too cool for school, right? Can Khoo obviously is your last name, right? Okay.
And I have a lot of fun making them.
Yeah.
I think it's like my work stopped creative.
Yeah.
Like my full-time job is not a creative job.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a creative outlet for me.
Yeah. And it's, you got 20 hours of training. I don't know how you find the time.
It doesn't feel like
40 hours of work and 20 hours of training, and this almost is like take the edge off and something to take your mind off.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just some people do like handicraft.
Yeah.
I make TikTok videos.
Oh, you do TikTok? Is it TikTok as well? I only see it on Instagram. So.
Both on TikTok and Instagram.
Okay, which one do you find has more engagement?
The algorithm is very different. Yeah, TikTok is more unpredictable.
Okay.
Yeah, on Instagram, they care about who you are more.
Yep.
And whereas on TikTok, you're just another face.
Yep.
So the algorithm.
I heard with TikTok, they'll let's just say they send it to 5 people, and if all 5 people like it, then they'll send it out to more, and then to more. And if of those first 5 people, only 2 of them like it, they will just sort of shrink it down. That's why some TikTok videos don't grow at all, and then some just blow up. Right?
I have no idea how it works.
Yeah.
I just post videos, and if it works, it works. It doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
I have fun making it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, Ben. I think that's great. Now we have the end of the year to follow you to see the half Ironman record, and then we have this time next year to see how you do on the full Ironman, right? And to get a hold of you is just too cool for school, right? I'll put that up on the screen because it's a bit hard to spell out, but it's very easy. It's too cool, like your last name, for school with a cool, right? So it's easy to remember. Okay, Ben, thanks you so much for coming in. And we'll catch up again. Okay,
That was fun.
No worries.